He's like, you don't want to cuddle? I'm like, no.
I'm sorry, but when is it post-cuddle? Like, that's not appropriate. You just jerked yourselves off. There's no cuddling after.
We're your hosts, Tara, Nora, and Allie, and you're listening to Bad Advice Only.
We're just three New York City rats talking about scurrying around the Big Apple. Here, we make the New York City mistakes so you don't have to.
We're begging you. Leave us a review and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bad Advice Only NYC. We release new episodes every Monday, so stay tuned, rats.
Today we're going to be talking about more of Allie's dates because her last dating horror story episode got rave reviews.
It went viral. I don't know if you saw.
Literally viral. The people will not stop asking her about cum in her eye, and so today she's going to share more bad dates. But first, Tara really wants to talk to us about gel pens. We don't know where this is going.
So, thank you for the intro, Nora. That was really nice. That was
great.
Probably the most formal intro we've had.
But it's getting harder and harder to edit.
Look,
you crazy bitches.
It's election day. We have to have formality.
Gotta. We should be very presidential
and
today.
We all voted.
Are you trying to make us popular or canceled?
No, I'm gonna vote, guys. I'm gonna vote.
I don't believe you.
No, I will vote. I'm voting right after this.
So anyways, we were talking about gel pens before we started recording, and I remembered this heinous story about a gel pen incident. So when Nora and I were kids, we weren't allowed to have gel pens because we drew all over our bodies. What's the face, Allie?
I just, what's the difference between a gel pen or any other pen?
Such a good point.
Because the gel
ridiculous.
pens, you know how the gel pens were. They were awesome. They were glittery. They were all fun, different colors. So, of course, we would draw on our bodies with them.
Right.
And it was a huge concern of our mothers we were going to get some kind of poisoning.
I remember.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
What were parents worried?
So
is that
my mom
a thing?
was like, draw away, sweetie.
I have this tiny, tiny little scar on my wrist from pulling out my own IV when I got my tonsils out when I was 5. So it's a cute little scar on my wrist. No one really notices it. However, I was a little self-conscious of it circa 5th grade, 2001, for our Gen Z listeners. But in 5th grade, I started using gel pens and coloring over it, and I turned it into a cute little watch. I just made it a really cute accessory until one day this scar swelled up into this massive blister. It was like 3D, y'all. And
because you got ink poisoning?
I guess, but
and it was just all the gel pen ink inside, like
Guys,
a snow globe.
It was glittery inside. I had to show our mom, and she was so mad. It was full of glitter.
So was it never healed? Was it just an injury that was open?
No, I don't know what I did
So maybe
to it.
it's not good to draw on yourself.
Yeah, I don't know, guys.
Did you drain your jelly pen?
I don't remember.
Is it a jelly pen? Is that the full proper name?
You know,
Christian
I'm getting
name.
confused with my 90s terms. Remember the jellies, like the shoes?
Uh-huh. They're back.
Not really. What are they?
They're
They're
the
like
clear
the Crocs
sandals.
of
Yeah.
the 90s.
I'm a bit younger than you guys.
Such a
Wait,
You're
Allie's
older
the
than me.
youngest.
I'm the youngest one on the podcast, okay?
Oh, listeners, guess who's oldest and who's youngest? It's a little math problem for you. We know Allie's youngest now. Figure it out, kids.
All right. You know who else is old? My dates.
What a segue.
Allie with the segues, always improv, always excellent.
Yeah, I've had a lot of bad dates. I feel like I've really been trying to channel you, Nora, not to be a dick, but
What do you
you know,
mean?
she goes out a lot. She's out all the time. She's a little stay about.
That's true. Listener, I go out on a date probably 3 times a week when I'm single.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like dinner. I like food. What?
I love that for you, and I've been really thinking, I don't go out enough. I have the same routine. I'm meeting the same people.
Yeah.
I really should let that universe know this bitch is ready. So I did mention cum in my eye, and I feel like that's a good place to start because
Agreed.
this was right after Dog Eye. Did I tell you guys about this all the way already?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't really.
This
We've all
was-
had cum in our eyes, so I think we kind of just See, that's the thing. The listeners maybe haven't had cum in their eyes, so
Yes,
they
they
had questions.
have.
believe that,
Everyone,
yeah.
this is very relatable, right?
Dude,
If you
it
haven't had cum in your
hurts.
eye, you've never sucked a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
This was a second date, and I probably shouldn't have gone on it already, just because the first date, the man hated women.
Oh, yeah.
What
He
is his
didn't
name?
know.
Are we calling him the nickname we call him?
Sure, Hot Mark.
Hot Mark is what we call him, listener.
But no man is hot if they hate women.
No, I
so
love Hot
fuck
Mark.
you,
He's got an
Hot
eight-pack.
Mark.
You
What the
could-
fuck, Allie?
I'd sit on Hot Mark's face if I got the chance.
If I were to rank who hates women most in this room, it's you.
Oh, it's for sure
It's
me.
for sure,
I'm
Allie.
like, put that bitch in a kitchen and put a muzzle on her.
A muzzle.
Kidding. Just me.
So,
My kinks are showing. So
Buckle up.
we go out, and it's like a Thursday night, and I am feeling feisty, so I take myself to dinner, and I get
love it when you do that.
2 glasses of wine to pregame my date.
Oh, before your date.
Nora likes to pregame before a date.
I just chug
2.
1 beer before a date. I
That's
don't,
totally valid. I
you.
had
I've
2 glasses
never-
of wine.
I've been dating wrong for the last decade.
Yeah, you have. You pregame a date.
I never
with
even
one.
got dinner.
A first date, you have 1 drink.
I know
2
I'm
if
not
you're
getting
Allie.
dinner. I'm going to buy myself dinner before I go. At least I'm going to be well fed with the food that I like and not have to share.
Smart.
And he was also like, it's going to be a 9 o'clock date, which is like, he knows it's past my
rude.
bedtime because every time we text, I fall asleep promptly at 9:30 p.m. And so he was texting me, and then he's like, I'm going to be late. Now, he was late the first date, too. He kept pushing it back, but like,
I can't respect a pushback.
no, me either. So I am sitting on my couch. I haven't heard from him. He's like, I'm going to be late. And I'm like, 2 glasses of wine deep. And I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. Like, I'm exhausted. So I go
Got
back
it.
to my apartment. I call Tara. I'm on the couch. I'm like, this motherfucker is late again. Like, I'm literally about to cancel. And he's
I
like,
told her to cancel for,
I was like,
for the record.
okay, well, what time then? And he's like, 9:15.
That's not even a pushback.
It's
That's-
15 minutes.
15 minutes late.
That's not a pushback. That's you get to the bar and then you're like, oh, I'm almost there.
Right.
Like,
Right.
give me a sec.
For the listener, it was a block away from his apartment, so I don't know why he needed a pushback.
Yeah, it was a block away from his, not from mine. So I'm like on the couch. It's 9 o'clock when the date was supposed to start, and I'm like, Tara, like I am on my couch, like I'm so close to going to bed, and I texted him, and I was like, honestly, like let's just cancel.
Allie.
I was like, I'm exhausted. Like this is gonna be 15 minutes. It's gonna turn into 30. It's gonna
shouldn't
turn
have
into
even-
45. Like you
He
gave me
shouldn't
the
have
out
even
here.
said anything.
Right.
He shouldn't have even said anything. He
What,
should have
and shown up 15
he
minutes
should have
late?
on the way.
Yep.
Like she's there 9, and he should have been like, oh my gosh, 1 sec, I'll be there in
I
literally
would have
15.
had 2 glasses of wine at the bar.
Right, and then you would have been there, ready to go.
So,
go on.
Anyway, we go there, and
At what time did you actually meet?
so
for the
he
date?
texts me then while I'm on the phone with you, and it's like 9:12, and he's like, I'm just getting to the bar.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even a real pushback.
So I'm like,
I told
well, I'm on
Allie
my couch.
to demand a photo of him at the bar. I was like, make him send you
was-
proof.
I was
trust
like,
issues
I
are so.
can't trust these men anymore. You've got to send proof that you're already at the fucking bar before I even put on my goddamn shoes.
it's such a good point. So I text him and I'm like, I'm on my couch because you didn't. He took 20 minutes to respond to me, like,
No, I would actually probably do the same.
and I was like, I'll get there when I get there. And then he was like, he's like, well, what do you want to drink? And he's like, actually, just text me like 5 minutes out because I don't want to order your drink and then have it get like watered down because I drink my vodka water with extra ice. It's just water. So I'm like, all right. So I meet up with him. We go to a different bar because it was too loud. And we actually have like a great time. We're playing like shuffleboard. He's making me laugh, making some bad jokes about women. I'm like, oh, hot Mark. And then,
oh, hot
honestly,
Mark.
I wasn't gonna try. Like, this man's not my husband. I just wanted to sleep with him. Like,
Yeah.
that was the whole point. And I thought I had made that clear earlier in our text messages because it was just sexual. It wasn't
In
at
what
all
way?
of
Okay.
interest. Of like, hey, how was your day? It was like that dick, though. Am I right? And then we go back to Hit's place, and we're like. The elevator tension. You know how we talked about this before?
You two were squealing on that episode
Because
about
there's
elevator
nothing
tension.
better than post-date elevator tension,
And there's
ladies.
nothing better than maybe having sex in an elevator, which almost happened.
I don't want to have sex in an elevator, but go on. How did it almost happen?
Well, we were just fooling around. It was getting
There's
real.
cameras in there.
Great. I was getting.
Fun fact, I get really dizzy if I make out in an elevator.
I wouldn't call it a fun fact.
Dizzy.
So his dick's out. You're in the elevator.
His dick's not quite out yet, but it was. The dry humping. My first real dry hump.
What do you mean first time?
Allie doesn't dry hump.
I don't dry hump. I'm just like take it out, put it in, get out.
She wet humps.
I'm like, put it in my mouth or put it in my vagina.
Wet humps.
I wet.
She only
do
wants
hump.
it.
I do
That's
hump.
the
She
most
only wants it
heinous
where
thing.
it's lubricated.
I
She
just
doesn't want it in
I
the
don't want clothes in between.
No, I actually prefer the clothes sometimes. It's easier to
I don't
come
want
with
any
a little,
clothes.
you need a little friction.
I'm somewhere in between you two, but I don't know where.
I mean,
because
look, I
both
like
of you have
sex
made
too.
it.
It's not like I don't have
Both
sex.
of you have
It's
made it
just-
sound heinous on both ends of the humping spectrum.
I'm such a man where I'm like, I just want to fucking get out. Like, I want nothing else. It's like that time that guy took me on a date.
No, Al, you're in the middle of a story.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
No.
So anyway, he's like, all right, enough of this elevator. We go back in his apartment. We're still fooling around. And then he's like, I'm not going to have sex with you because I like you. And I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, this was the whole point. You can't do this after you've riled me up.
Blue
like, I
balls.
don't understand.
Blue
you.
clit.
Blue clit. A
we
blit.
hate a blue clit.
And so I'm like, shit, now what? And then he's like, I'll watch you. Like, finish yourself off. This is too much info for the listeners.
No.
I do it. And then
So I do it.
because I'm like, Jesus, like,
Yeah.
I can't.
What's he doing while you're doing it?
So then he
Is he
just
jerking off while you're doing
finally
it?
was just watching for a while, which I was like, that was kind of weird, but whatever. Like, I could do this at home or I could do this here. I guess it's no different. And then he finally, takes his dick out, and then I'm like, okay. And then I'm like trying to like blow him, but he like kind of won't let me. And I'm like, are you afraid of like what are you afraid of?
Do you think
what are
he
you
had,
afraid of?
do you think he
Enjoying
had an
yourself?
STI?
Oh,
He must have.
that could be it.
Which is not great for my eye, if that's the case. Because he's just jerking it. And I'm just like, at one point, like, I've weirdly finished, and then I'm just watching him jerk it, and
what
I'm
do you
just, like,
mean
on my
weirdly?
knees, like, waiting, like, looking at my watch, like, Jesus, how long is this gonna take? And then he didn't give me any warning that it was, he wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna come. He just came, and my eyes were wide open because I was just looking around the apartment, getting my bearings together.
you were like
Playing
looking at
exit
And then
strategy.
it just sprays in my eye, and I'm like, oh, God.
My God.
And he's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, my eye. And I'm like, I'm going to get pink eye. Like, while he's
sexy
finishing.
ending.
He's like, let me just get you, like, I come all over my face. And I was like, just can you get me a towel? Like, get me something. I can't open my eye. Like, it's
Glued
been
shut.
compromised. Yeah. Not good. So then he brings me this towel. I get up. I immediately run to the sink and I take out my contact.
Smart.
And then I'm like, do you have contact solution? I'm like rinsing out my eye. My makeup's just running down one side of my face. And I'm like, well, I guess I should go. He's like, you don't want to cuddle? I'm like, no.
I'm sorry, but when is it post cuddle? Like, that's not appropriate. You just jerked yourselves off. There's no cuddling after.
It's really
Like,
sad when you put it that way.
No, I just don't like. I love the fact that he's like, I don't want to hook up because I like you. You know what's appropriate? Though is we'll
facial.
just
Get a little cum in that
I'll
eye.
just put cum in the eye.
It's so
Yeah,
much more
it's
romantic.
weird
Like, he
because
doesn't like
I
you.
feel like I've definitely used the like I like you so I don't want to sleep with you on guys that I don't want to sleep with.
Oh,
But I'm like,
Do
why
you-
bring me back to your
do you
apartment
like
then?
them?
The men?
Yeah.
No.
you know what? I get a lot. I get this a lot from specifically like the Jewish guys I go out with. They'll be like, I don't want to sleep with you because I want to see you again.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're not going to see me again either way. So you might as
Joke's
well.
on you, L'chaim.
But then they'll let me blow them. And I'm like, that's kind of like way more rude if you think about it.
way more rude.
It's like those born again virgins.
Yeah.
I'm one of those. Every day.
I don't think born again means you just woke up.
I woke up like this, a virgin.
I woke up like this, knew all who did.
Oh, man.
Are you going to see Hot Mark again?
He has ghosted me.
So maybe he didn't
I
like
did send
you.
him a text message that was a little beneath me, I have to say, where I was like,
Time out.
Yeah, time out. What text message is beneath Allie?
Did you threaten to kill his mom? Did you tell him that you hoped she had
I'll
cancer?
just, you know what? I'll read it to you verbatim.
Oh, my
Let me
God.
just pull up Hot Mark
Little
here.
beneath
He's in my phone as Hot Mark.
Ugh, take that off. He's coming the eye mark
I
now.
said, are you going to make me beg to see you again? Because I'll do it, ... laughy face.
No, and then he never responded.
No, he said, oh, Allie. And I wrote, So is that a no? Then I never heard from him again.
What the fuck?
So
Oh,
desperado.
Allie.
Oh, that's hilarious. I don't know if you want to tell the story or not, but I keep waking up in the night pissed off at that Hinge guy for you.
Which one?
Yeah.
The fact that she's forgotten. God bless Allie last name.
Last name.
When we were at the fucking baby shower.
Oh, this guy. I have been mad about this for days.
I've been mad about this for
Was
days.
was I there?
I think you might have missed it. So this guy is messaging me on Hinge, and I'm like, well, I'm at a baby shower today. And I was like, he was cute, but I was just like, I've got too much lined up. I'm not into it. And I was like...
Let me punt this over
So
my
I
girl,
gave him the
Allie.
old punt. I gave him the old punt because he was like, do you want to meet at this bar at 8 o'clock for a date? And I'm like, you know what? I actually have plans tonight, but I'm with my best friend right now. Would you like to take her out instead and go on this date? And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, let me see some pictures. So we send Allie's Instagram. Mm-hmm. This man's response from there is, fuck no.
Good luck to her.
Good luck. I've never been more angry. I tried to
She was
report him.
it was the most loyal. She tried to report him for like 6 hours, but we were too
I
drunk.
was
We
too
couldn't
drunk
figure
to
it
figure
out.
out how to report him, but I was just
She really is so loyal. I thought, honestly, the whole what I took
What
away
the
from this
fuck?
interaction was truly, you two are my best friends. Like, the reaction that Nora gave, I was like, that's it. I have all the love I need.
Snatched my phone back, started screaming, and just started hitting report. This man assaulted me over and over and over.
Oh my god.
Felon. She wrote felon at one point.
I thought he was a felon.
Are felons not allowed on Hinge? They just
I don't know.
love to.
There's only so many options. There's no option for he was kind of rude.
I'm like, it's not everyone's gonna be everyone's type, but the
Correct.
fuck no is a
Fuck
little
no?
harsh.
Correct.
A
Who would
little
say
harsh.
that? Who would say fuck
I'm
no?
sure men have thought it
Don't
about
say
all
it.
of us.
It's
But
so
don't,
mean.
That's called intrusive thoughts.
It's so
Keep
mean.
it inside.
No, we're strangers. There is no need. You could just say no thanks.
Or
you could
not
just not
respond.
respond. Why would you say fuck no?
That is so nasty.
It's
you know
so
he has the
nasty.
tiniest
That's what I
penis.
said. That's what I messaged to him. I said,
little
I
dick
lectured him. I
baby
said,
back
just so you
bitch.
know, that was very rude. You could have just not responded or said no thank you. I know your penis is so small, no woman can feel it. And then I blocked him.
That's true.
Nice.
So good.
I was so mad.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to feel anything from that thing.
But don't come at me, listener, about accusing this man of assault. I didn't do it because I was too drunk to figure out how to do it.
Just submit the feedback.
I couldn't submit it.
So we just
just a-
removed him.
I just kept hitting felon.
It was so fun, like over and over again to the point where I was like, I'm gonna go get some fries.
She's like, I don't even care anymore. And I'm like,
Like, he's so dead to me. Like, you think that's the first guy that's done. I mean, he's the first guy to react that way. Most guys just don't
just
respond.
don't respond.
Right.
Which I'm like, thank you.
If you're not interested, don't respond. It's also not like this guy was like Prince Charming.
No,
he was a
a
very average
fucking
man.
normal 5'8" dick.
It reminds me of that
I'm
guy
mad.
at the bar that told me that I was literally looked like their mom, and I was ugly. Remember
I
that?
forgot about that.
I mean, we're not everyone's cup of tea, but like,
Boys, don't be mean to a girl until she deserves
Never
it.
have I heard Tara looks like a mom. If anything, it's like a 14-year-old
Yeah.
child.
yeah. Normally, I'm getting the other side where like pedos are going after me.
Yeah, with that bow this weekend that you put in your hair.
Dude, I was worried about it. I was gonna attract some nasties.
Tara's so excited now that she's using retinol for the first time in 35 years.
I'm 34.
Are you really?
What the fuck, Allie?
I thought you were 33. I thought you were younger. You always round up every year, and I never know how old you actually
fair.
are.
My
That's
mom
fair.
does the same thing. My mom's been saying she's 60 for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
My
I have
mom
no
doesn't
idea.
know how old she is. I'm
That
like,
makes
how old
sense.
are you? She's like, I'm somewhere in my 70s. She's like, I'm 1 year closer to death. What do you want from me?
I was trying to think of how I could contribute to this episode because I know the single rats are dying to hear about the single rat dates. But I do want to tell one not terrible date story, but listener beware. I went on my second date with Piece of Shit, and he planned it. Very, very sweet of him. He had a time. He had a place.
Ugh, that's all we ask for.
Weeks,
Time, place,
not weeks,
show
like
up.
days in advance.
How
Days
many
in
times
advance.
do we have to say it?
He gets there early,
Ugh,
at the bar waiting for
Perfect.
me.
rubbing it in.
Orders me a drink.
Well,
Total
that scares
gentleman.
me sometimes.
I was there, so I could keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, it's really, really nice of y'all to offer to buy a drink, but because those few bad ones out
Just
there.
don't be offended if I say no, because I assume you're putting something in.
Right.
I'll
don't
drink
be
it,
offended.
poison or no poison.
Okay, Allie's down.
Allie's looking to get knocked out, fiddle around in there.
I've always wanted to get roofied, but I want to do it to myself, not like a
It's like
strange
the less
man.
you know, the better.
So anyways, so listener, if you're trying to plan a fun, cute second date with a woman you met online, I wouldn't do what piece of shit did.
What did he do?
You remember this, Nora?
No.
He booked this thing for Break Bar.
Oh, yeah.
And so for the listener, there's all these different, I'm sure there's different ones that are called different things, but Break Bar essentially is you get suited up in a onesie. They tape your shoes to the onesie. You wear a helmet, safety goggles, and then you're given multiple weapons, a crowbar, a baseball bat.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
my
golf
kind of
clubs. You go into a room and you smash shit. So there's like electronics in there, glasses, glassware. It's terrifying for a second date, y'all. At first I was like, oh, cool. He thought of something cute and like different, right? Than just going to a bar and getting wasted so that we can have sex on our second date. No. The first swing he took, I just started screaming because I was so
Was it hard?
scared.
Did you go full?
Yes, he
full
was
muscle?
beating the fuck out of these electronics.
It's so funny because he's genuinely
No,
the
he's
sweetest
very
man. Like, I
shy.
can't
I
imagine.
didn't know him.
Like, do you think that's why he did it? He's like, I'm never going to be, like, more masculine than this moment right now. Love you, piece of shit. I mean that in the nicest
He's
way.
very manly.
No, I know, but, like, aggressive. Like, he's not an aggressive man.
Yeah, I think he was like showing me to not like get snappy.
He was trying to turn you on.
I
but
think he was trying
wrong
to show me
move.
what he could do if I talked
If
back.
you get out of line.
if I get out of line.
Battery.
I love that. Honestly, it sounds great.
It was terrifying. The whole time I screamed, and they recorded. So they're like playing some of it back to us, and it's just me screaming at the top of my lungs every time he swung. And I was like, weren't the men running this place a little nervous that I was like in there just screaming out of absolute fear for my own safety? Everything he hit, I was imagining my face getting hit by it. I was just like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Did you have fun, though?
No, I was so
Make that like a month 2 date. Like
Yeah.
after you
really,
prove
really
you're
fun
a
date
Tinder man.
idea, but like after you know the person, you feel safe. I was so jittery after that date. I wanted to take him home that night because I was into him, wanted to hook up. But after that, I was like too jittery, so I was like, we got to go to another bar. And like, I took him to another bar and just like sat there with a beer and just had to like calm down a little bit before I took him back to our place.
Did you sling that bat around, or?
I threw that bat around hard. Nora, did you have a bad date that you wanted to share, or was it mostly Allie's sudden?
I've been trying to think about it, and I know I've had so many bad dates, but like I'm blanking right this second. I'm on kind of a good streak.
Well, I'm happy to list off a few more. Just
Could you-
high level to see if it's spurring any?
Yeah, go ahead. List
Memories.
off high level, and maybe it'll hit me.
I have that guy that walked up to me and just grabbed my face, made out with me, and then I had to ask him if his name was Brian because that was my date's name.
Oh, I just threw up in my mouth.
Okay, really quick. Just so to clarify, you're sitting in the bar waiting on your date. First date,
Yeah, it was the first date. Never met this
Online
man.
man.
and he walks into the bar.
Yeah, the only thing we had texted before was like, I've never been to this bar before. I was like, do you want me to get a table outside, or did you want to just like wait to see if something pops open at the bar? He's like, just stand behind the bar, like I'll wait. And there were a ton of hot dudes. It was like a football game. It was a Sunday night, and then I just see this tiny man walking in the bar.
You didn't tell me it was tiny.
He was tiny. He's like my height.
Allie's.
Allie.
What? He's tiny. He was a tiny man. He walks up to me, and he's smiling, and I'm like, "Who? I have no idea who this man is. He doesn't at all look like what I thought he did." And he just grabs my face and makes out with me, and like aggressively. And I was like pulling my head back, recoiling. I said, "Are you Brian?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, I am." And then we went to a sober dinner where I ate seaweed salad and watched him pound 3 rolls of sushi.
Oh God.
I love seaweed salad.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, so that was one.
Wait. His name's just Brian, no nickname.
I don't think.
I don't even know what to
I don't
call
even
it.
think
Brian, it is.
I had never. I couldn't. I was counting the seconds down until I could leave.
That reminds me of something that's so traumatic. And so counting down the seconds reminds me of, I have this friend, I won't name names, but I'll tell you all later, but he really wanted to try to get a sex worker. Like, that was on his kind of bucket list.
Same.
So when he went to Mexico...
What did Ali say?
You said same?
What'd you say?
I would do it for sure.
Oh.
But so he went to Mexico and he hired a sex worker, but he was so turned off by the whole, like, hiring a sex worker interaction, which is like, but it was on his bucket list. So
He just didn't like the rigmarole of finding, negotiating.
She was beautiful. Yeah, all that. She was beautiful, like, hot girl.
You don't like paying for it.
Men just
but
can't be satisfied.
Exactly. But the paying for it aspect kind of ruined it for him.
What a fucking moron.
Which I know. I'm like, but that's the whole point. Anyway, so he's told me that when he was having sex with her, he just had sex with her as long as he thought would be polite. Because he didn't want to offend her.
What? How long is that? It'd be 0. No women watch that.
give her the money and leave.
I know. That's what I said. I said, just give her the money and leave. She's not going to be offended.
Like, no one's like, oh, I hope this man that's paying me to fuck me is
Like,
going to
I
actually
hope he
fuck
really
me.
does it.
Like, I don't think she's
No.
doing that
So-
because she,
No.
like, genuinely enjoys it. Maybe she does, but I don't.
So the
took a
theme I'm
turn.
seeing here with the theme I'm seeing is none of us want any of this, but we're not saying anything.
Right, he should have just been like, you're beautiful, make out with her, I don't know, kiss her, and then be like, I'm not in the mood, thanks.
Or just don't do it.
But he, like, genuinely was like, trying to stay hard so that he could not offend this poor sex worker.
I want to know what guys are thinking to stay hard.
Grandma.
Definitely
That's
grandma.
the opposite.
Killing bitches.
Yeah, I just murdering women, I don't know.
bitches.
I gotta
Murdering
think of
squirrels.
some weird shit to stay hard sometimes, know what I mean?
Do you?
Ayo. Sometimes.
I just watch porn.
Depends on how much drugs I've done.
Yeah, that's fair. I just put on a
Speaking
little,
of which,
background porn.
this weekend, talk about dry mouth. Could not function.
Are you talking about your vagina?
No, my mouth. Literally, my mouth could
You
not function.
have so many guys that you are seeing that live a block away from each other. I had no fucking idea
Yeah, looking
where
up
you
your
ended up this weekend.
location, it's really hard
I was
right
in
now.
Lower East Side.
No, I know.
Your dots normally floating between Soho and Lower East, and it's getting
There's
really.
like 3 apartments, and I just have to look at the street view to understand
We should
where
drop
you
a
might
pin
be.
on all of their addresses.
Start dropping a pin on any man's place I might be at.
Yeah, that'd
I'm
be
a
good.
whore, listeners.
Whoa. Any
Anyway.
other? I feel like this one should have been with video. Nora's just been curled up in her chair laughing at Ali's stories.
All my credit cards just spilled
Yeah,
all
how'd
over.
that happen?
I have no clue. That's why I
Oh,
was
it
so
looks a little broken.
No,
then.
it is broke. I broke it this weekend.
Listener, Nora's phone is like an iPhone 8 and has been to the bottom of the lake.
It did
The
make
lake.
it to the bottom
Don't worry
of the
about
lake.
which lake. The lake it was.
It was scuba dived out.
Shit his pants. AJ had to swim to the bottom of the lake to retrieve
It was on the ground, and not only was it on the floor it was on the bottom of a lake, the little screen was on.
Yeah.
So he was just
So you
looking at
could
my
see.
background photo of me holding a hot dog in my
Yeah.
mouth.
And then I have a phone where the chips are falling off because the back's so broken. And
What's a chip?
Allie's camera stopped working, so she bought a new iPhone yesterday.
Yeah. But more dysfunctional shit. Allie's camera's been broken for like a month, and she can only take selfies. So every time she takes a picture, she has to do it in selfie mode.
Which didn't actually work well because I was on another date on Friday where I went to this concert. And I was like, oh, this is the one song I want to record. And I like took my phone out. And then I was like, shit, it was the first date. I'm like, how do I explain me taking a selfie to like the most romantic song in the album on this first date with a man?
Rat Pack, please just imagine how hard it is for us to do our social media when we've got 3 bitches here, 0 fully functional phones.
Yeah, it's really, social media is not our forte.
It's really not. We got a new follower, though.
Yep, we got a new follower. She graduates in 2026.
Did we meet her out? Where that
No, that's
There's
why I'm
no
saying she's a
way we
real
met
fan.
someone
Real
that
fan.
young.
Oh, I thought you like knew her.
No, that's why we're saying real fan.
Real
We
fan.
had another fan, which was like my last date that I was gonna share.
Oh my
Your
god.
best segue yet.
Oh, listen up, listeners. Just so you know, you can date Allie through this platform, as this man did.
This
Unfortunately, he
man-child.
was taken. Go on.
Wow.
I actually met him
way
on
to-
field, so.
Okay, well, that's even more infuriating
That's
because
really infuriating.
for a background, I know we covered a little bit about the different dating apps. So Field, for the listener, is a very open-minded, open app where you share your kinks, your fantasies.
And you should be honest if
and
you're married.
You're honest on
A lot of people are.
A lot of people are.
Yeah,
married.
there's a lot of
and they're in
married
open
couples
relationships.
on. They're open relationships.
This man isn't.
This man had
The-
2 pictures.
The times that I've talked to married people or committed people on Field, they have their partner linked, and you talk to their partner first, and it's quite lovely. Go on, Allie.
I didn't get any of that experience. His profile said that he just got out of a serious relationship 6 months ago. So
Does his
I
wife
thought
know?
he was single. Okay, so
Silly you.
So listener, didn't want to bring him up on the podcast because he is an avid listener, but he has since been blocked on all platforms. So now I'm going to talk about him. He wanted his nickname to be, I don't know, he gave me a nickname that he wanted. But
What?
I
You don't
told
get
him-
to pick your own
I told him
nickname
I was
around
gonna
here.
get
Call
him
him pick your journey
feet
here.
pics, which I'll get to, but now I'm kind of like, he's just the married guy.
But narrow it down, Al. Every man who pursues you is married.
This is true. We just
It's
talked about
another
this.
one.
Married guys, stop it. I had to block another guy on Instagram because he couldn't take it, is what he told me. I said, what? And he's looking at your profile. Maybe he thought it was ugly. I'm like, block yourself. Block yourself.
thought you're
Take this dog face.
He's like, I can't take it anymore.
No, he would just send me pictures, like, of my posts. Like, he would just forward my posts to me and be like, that outfit. And I'm like, do you need me to block you? Because, like, you can do it yourself. And he's like, I think you need to block me.
What is wrong with married men?
So I did.
So feet pics.
Okay, so this guy's like, I'm out of a serious relationship 6 months ago, whatever. We start talking while we were back in Atlanta for Halloween. So it had been like a full 7 days of talking, which normally I'm not like for a pen pal, but he honestly had me rolling on the floor laughing. Makes sense that he can hold a conversation because he is obviously in a committed partnership and not like a total
Well, committed.
freak. Well, so
Generous.
committed on her end. And
She sounds very committed.
I had obviously no idea. We were talking nonstop for like days. And then, he's forming this bond, like you and I've talked about all week, of him listening to every episode of the podcast. He's like, I've learned so much about you. He's telling me all these facts about all 3 of us, which is honestly
I kind of hate it when
so
people
creepy
do that.
now.
Yeah.
In hindsight. And then I was honestly not going to meet up with him. Like, genuinely, I was like, whatever, I'm over dating because of all these really bad experiences I've had over the last few weeks. And then he commented on Spotify on one of our episodes and was like, have Allie call me, she sounds sexy or something. So
Yeah.
I screenshotted it and I sent it to him and I was like, thanks for your support. And then we started talking again, but it was like nonstop back and forth, fire off messages, like sending me videos from his house, like all this shit. But then because I'm a psychopath and we all have trust issues, I was like, let me just check out what his Spotify looks like.
She looked at me when she said we all have trust
To
issues.
look at the Spotify. Go on.
I know. I cannot
I've never
believe
thought of
this.
that.
I know you can look at other people's Spotify, but
I don't think there's a lot of dirt there typically. What'd you find out?
What'd
you find
time
on that
was a real
Spotty?
doozy. Yeah, you can click on their profile and it just takes you to like all of their shared playlists.
Uh-huh.
And this one said wedding 2024.
What? 2024?
So he
And I'm
didn't
like-
just get out of he did just get out of a partnership to enter a marriage.
He entered a marriage this
Yep.
year.
So then I'm like, maybe it ended in a quick divorce. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's not looking good. Because I don't just stop there. I click on who the wedding playlist is shared with.
Smart,
Oh my
smart,
God.
smart.
And it's his wife.
Oh my God.
And her picture is them on their wedding day.
Oh
So
my
I'm like,
God.
well, this doesn't look good. But I'm like, maybe
Maybe
like
it's an
I don't know
old
how to.
photo.
Right, I don't know how to
Maybe-
update my picture on Spotify. So now I have both his whole name and her whole name, and
She's piecing things together. They share a last name.
No, they had 2 different names, which is why I also was like, maybe they
Okay.
were divorced.
Still benefit of the doubt.
Wow, good.
She's a
Proud
kind
of you,
girl.
Allie.
I had that until it went to Instagram, and both of their pictures were with each other,
Oh my God.
both with wedding rings still on. So that's a toughie. And then I was like, I don't know what I want to do with this. Like, do I meet up with him and then just like do it live and wait for the reveal? Do I let him know ahead of time? I felt really icky, so I let him know ahead of time.
We really wanted you to just jump out of
Well-
a cake and tell him.
You know, it keeps getting worse. So I messaged him and I'm like, peeped a cute little wedding ring on your finger. And he was like, oh no, or something. Like, I forget, I deleted all the text messages. And
Damn it, Allie, stop doing that.
She's
We need
ashamed.
this.
She's
I'm so
ashamed of her
ashamed.
behavior.
You did
Literally,
nothing wrong.
No,
Yeah, you
I met up with him. He
She didn't hook up with him.
no.
No,
I
his
just-
text was, please still meet me. I can
he was like,
explain.
yes.
It wasn't even that because he was like, "Will you meet me?" And I was like, "Probably shouldn't." And I sent that little emoji with the arms, like,
Because you're
married.
married.
And he was like, "No, I'll explain everything. Please just meet me." And he goes, "If anything, it'll be good for the podcast."
Boo.
I have to go. I have to for the podcast, you guys.
Well, it
You
sounds
know-
like he's got a story at that
Right.
point.
It's going to be spicy.
So I'm intrigued. We don't speak until we meet at this bar, and it's broad daylight, and he's like hiding at this table in the back of this bar, and I'm like, "Is this your MO? You like just come to bars
He's
and
got a
hide
hoodie up,
for
sunglasses
women?"
on.
Yeah, and he's like, "No." And then I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm here for the story," and he's like, "You don't want to talk about anything else? Like our text messages were so great," and I was like,
Right.
"Get on with it. You're married. Like, what's your deal?" And then he like
Explain
starts
yourself.
kind of crying, and he's like, "I'm miserable." Like, it was so sad. It was not funny at all. Like, it's not even a story at the bar. He's like, "I'm just miserable." And so me being me, I'm like, "You should probably get a divorce."
Yeah.
And he was like,
Good advice.
he was like,
Don't cheat
"Nah,
on your wife."
I'ma stick it out. And I said, "Why?" And then he said, "For financial reasons." And then,
You didn't tell me that part.
yeah.
What
and
is
then
he? Is he broke?
I was like, you should probably go to therapy as well. It sounds like you need some therapy." He starts crying.
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, "I don't really know what to do here. Like, I wish you the best of luck, but like," and he's like, "Well, do you think that I should like put like that I'm ethically non-monogamous on my app?" And I'm like,
No,
"No,
it's
because
not. You're
you're not
not.
ethically non-monogamous. You're just one-sided cheating on your wife.
cheating.
Like,
Ugh.
what?" And then I was like, "But I do have to know, like, how did you get away with texting me nonstop?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I just put you on Do Not Disturb. My wife and I basically live in different rooms." Like, he just didn't
They
even try to
got
lie
married
about it.
this
Yeah.
year. Why
He's
are
gonna
you
get
already
caught.
in different
He's gonna get
rooms?
caught so fast.
Then
This
he
man
tried
will
to
be
nap
caught.
me.
He obviously wants
He
to
didn't
get
try
caught.
to nap you.
He tried to nap me, I swear by it. I swear if I
She
kept
means
walking down the
kidnap,
street,
guys.
probably nap me.
Why was he going to try to kidnap
He
you?
had a
Allie?
car. Sketchy. And then he's like, "Let me drive you home." And I was like, "I don't get into cars with strangers unless I'm paying them on an app." And he didn't like that. And then he texted me and was like, "Clearly you're not okay with my situation, so I'm just not
Right.
going to talk to you." And I said, "Sounds good."
What
and I
a
blocked him
little
on text
baby
messages.
back bitch.
Yep, I block him on messages. And then a week goes by, and we release our new episode this Monday. And he slides into our Instagram DMs with a little sad smiley face.
Oh, I didn't know it was,
Was
one
it
of
the
the
sad one, the
smiling
smile
with the tear.
Because that's
No,
one
it
of my
was just
favorite
it
emojis.
was just a smiley face, but it's just
Oh,
a sad
it was just
message to
pathetic.
send.
Yeah.
And so I blocked him on that.
Good.
I blocked him on my personal Instagram.
You want to
just
shout
in
out
case.
his full name?
Yeah, I want to shout his full name and wife's name. Get him.
Get him.
Get him. No, I'm just kidding. We shouldn't do that. Look, he's making mistakes, but they're his to make.
She will find him
She'll
so
find
quickly.
out very soon based on his behavior.
Yeah. So
Fuck
those
this man.
are my stories.
You know, interestingly, and we'll save this for next week, but I have two I accidentally went out with married guys stories to share.
really?
Yeah, pretty recent too. I just see something was going to trigger for me, but yeah, these two random guys were married.
All right, nice little teaser for next week.
A teaser.
Last thing I'll say is I had some really awful sex that wasn't real the other night,
Not real.
and that was tough.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, for next time, you'll hear about Nora's married dates and Allie's not real sex, but she likes dry humping
But
now.
for
That is all.
the episode, for the listener, we'll be getting into the holiday spirits, but we can fit in y'all's failed marriage dates
Sorry,
as well.
are we doing holiday episodes next?
Yeah, but we can talk about sex still.
Ho 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 on our way through New York.
Yeehaw.
As always, thanks for listening. If you're interested in even more bad advice, scurry on over to Instagram and TikTok at Bad Advice Only NYC. We're begging you. Download and rate the show and leave us a review. Talk to you next Monday.
Stay tuned, rats.